I was born in Utica, New York. 1993, I was born. My mom was only 14 years old. She had twins at 14 years old. Enough said, I was on the streets all the way till I was 8 or 9. This is Vante Poems. You're rocking with Purple Haze Nation, but today I'm with Flea Normality Talks, and we talking. So who is Vante Poems? Glad you asked.
You know when you cook for me, when you cooking things that I'm checking.
I was born in Utica, New York, Cornhill to be exact. 1993, I was born. That's when I started into this world with a twin. My mom was only 14 years old. She had twins at 14 years old. Enough said, I was on the streets, basically taking care of me, my twin, and my little brothers, all the way till I was 8 or 9. My mom was out in the streets herself with my 30-year-old dad, and she was into drugs. That landed her in jail at a young age. So growing up in that environment, I guess I never really thought about it. You know, I had to learn how to say things in order to get what I want, which is why I put my last name as Poems, because I know how to formulate words and talk to people. I think that's in creative writing. I think that's my biggest strong suit. Maybe around 6 or 7, I was in foster homes. Around 8 or 9, I got adopted. My foster mom ended up adopting me, my twin brother, and my little brother, Robert. And this is where my life kind of changed for the better.
You know when you cook for me, when you cooking things that I'm checking.
I was raised in the church. Being in the choir, and she was the choir director, that was my first start in music. Very good with background vocals and harmonies because of my choir background. How I started actually going into music after being in the choir, because my mom was really strict. Everybody knows that about me. My mom was really strict. There was no hip hop. 3rd or 4th grade, my adopted mom, that's my mom, she started buying like albums like Mariah Carey, Eminem, out of nowhere, like Nelly. And I think it was because I would go to school literally just to hear the new song, see what my friends, what they memorized over the weekend, and she noticed that, and she noticed how much I love the music. Now, it wasn't nothing too crazy, like I said, Mariah Carey, and then she really had us on Lil Bow Wow. Lil Bow Wow was like my savior growing up. Like, he couldn't tell me nothing. And what I would do is, I would write out a whole Bow Wow song, like play, pause, on the CD player, Walkman. And I would do this, and I did this one time on Kanye West's College Dropout when I got older, but I would do this with certain artists or songs that I really like, because I'm trying to figure out, like, how did they do that? How did they go up? How did they go down? How did they formulate the flows? So if I rewrite it, this is like 6th, 7th grade, if I rewrite it, make it my own, it'll sound just as dope, and people wouldn't even know because I switched around my own lyrics. So when I would go to the lunch table in middle school, like, Vante freestyle, and I wouldn't. But I was really good at it.
You know when you cook for me, when you cooking things that I'm checking.
When I went to university, I started taking my poetry to the big stage. I started doing spoken word. It wasn't just in home or writing poetry during my internships. I have to write this essay, or should I get like $75 to perform this show? It's the same time, same amount of work, because it's a poem. It's like writing an essay, essentially. Yes, that was 2011. 2013, I met my wife on Facebook. 3 days later, I asked her, I was like, look, I don't need any more friends. I don't need any more lady friends. I like you. I want to get serious, and I want to be your man. She was like, sure. We just started dating 3 days later after poking her on Facebook. We got married 3 months later, and then my daughter came a year later. January 1st, 2014, I moved here. I moved into Canada. They told me I couldn't work. I'm a visitor, but if they find out that I'm working, I'm going back. My daughter was just born August 15. 2014. And I looked online and was like, I'm looking for a new studio. Just moved here. I don't know anyone, don't know anybody. And Johnny Brown hit me, hey, we got a studio.
You know when you cook for me. When you cooking things down, check your
Johnny Brown is actually very instrumental to my sound. A lot of people don't know that. He's not just like my best friend. He's not just the starter of my network. He's very instrumental to how I sound. He's real humble. Like he let me. He was the first person to get me on stage here in Ottawa. First person to get my song produced, to record, and to go on stage. That's why every time I perform, I make sure to always reciprocate that love, no matter what. Because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't even have a name in Ottawa. There's a lot of great producers here in Ottawa and Toronto, but if you want something different, Johnny Brown would bring that, like for real. So shout out to Johnny. Of course, I came to Johnny. I'm going to Johnny crib on Bell Street every day. He's like, yo, there's this chick. She just did this song called Needed Me. She did a remix to Rihanna's new track, and I was like, okay, let me hear it. And it was crazy. It was dope. And then he's like, but we also made an original song together called Time Is Up. And I was like, yo, at this point, I still haven't met her yet. And I was like, yo, this is bananas. It's like, you need to put me on this. And then he put me on Time Is Up. And I hit up Misha. She seen how I'm doing on YouTube. I'm on Purple Haze Nation. And she was like, can you help me create a YouTube? This is funny because now Misha's the marketing guru. Like, you can't tell her nothing. So she took a year off music. And I think she didn't take a year off. She said she took a year off. I don't think she took it. I think she took that time to actually learn the business. She came back, I think she came back like 100 times harder. Own style, own sound, own look. I don't know how she does it. Now, I knew Johnny since 2015, and I knew Misha since end of 2015, beginning of 2016. So it's 2020 now. It's not nothing new. We know each other for a while. And anytime you see Johnny or Misha on the track, I'm not just throwing them on stage or whatnot. Those are the first two people to actually show me love and put a foot in the door because they're from the area. So yeah, of course, I'm gonna pay homage every single time. Anytime I get a chance to, I'm gonna do that. But I'm bringing them with me because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have had this opportunity.
You know when you cook for me. When you cooking things down, check your
I have a single coming out, Separated, produced by Johnny Brown, written by me. If you came to any of my shows this year, you know the song very well. Music video also dropping along with the single. I'm not just dropping the song, new song. I'm dropping the new song with a music video for you. So make sure you follow, subscribe, hit the link, follow whatever social media you're watching this on, and make sure you just support. So if you made it this far, that means you've been rocking with me the long way, and you rock with Normality Talks the long way. So you can keep on keeping on by following me at It's Vante Poems everywhere. YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and even Gmail. It's Vante Poems at Gmail. If you want to get in touch with me, it's that easy. So if you ever want to collab as another artist, let me know. Like, I got a guy that know a guy. Well, let's make some music. Music on all platforms, just Vante Poems. And just remember, we all kings. Lego.